Hey, good morning, y'all. Kind of a nasty morning here, but I wanted to get out and do a test real quick. Some of you may have seen my heavily loaded HD video that I did with all the sand in it. Well, this is the Liska and the Bight, and I had a gentleman ask me about paddling them roughly around 300 pounds. So I wasn't sure, and I wanted to come out and do a test so I can talk specifically to him. Now, I hope it'll benefit everybody to see these boats loaded up a little bit heavier than normal. I don't know how it's going to turn out. We'll see. Now, what I did different in this test is instead of putting sand on the front and the back like I did on the other test, I put it all underneath right exactly where the paddler's at. Now, this morning on a scale, I was 238 in my underbreeches. Trust me, you do not want to see that. So I figure I'm rounding up with all my gear on to 240, and I've got 220s and 210s underneath the seat. So that's another 60 pounds. So that's 300 pounds exactly where the paddler sits. Now, I also added a 25 to the tank well, and I'll show all this to you close up, but I added a 25 to the tank well to represent some gear that he's going to be carrying. So we're going to try it in the Bight, and then we're going to turn around and try it in the Liska, see what the results are. I may shoot on a different camera because the rain's coming. I don't get it on my big camera, so we'll see what happens. I know this is going to be a question. I do not know how well that you can see that, but there's you can see it shaking in there. There's well over an inch of freeboard in the scuppers. So all the scuppers, there's no water in the cockpit anywhere. All right, let's paddle this thing, see what happens. All right, that's with 325 in it right there. It paddles fine, it maneuvers fine. I don't feel tippy, I'm standing okay. I'm still pretty close to my weight, so this is about where it would be. And I can tell that if I change my foot position, you can see that there's water coming up out of the scupper, but as you stop moving, you know, it drains out fine. So at 325, you're gonna have a little water in the cockpit if you move back and forth while you're standing. But it goes away just like that. I'm impressed. I didn't know what it would do, but I'm impressed. All right, now for the Liska. All right, well that's it. The Liska with 325. Like I said again, I'm 240, got 60 underneath the seat, got 25 right here behind me for gear. I've got probably an inch and a half maybe on my scuppers before water comes in the deck. Now I haven't stood yet, and I'll do that here in just a second. There's definitely more primary stability in the Bight, but I mean the Liska, I could fish in this all day long like this. This is fine. There is a little water coming up into the cockpit, you know, when I go side by side. And now since there's a few less scuppers in the cockpit, Some of it's staying, but not bad. And I'm sure it'll drain as I sit back down. But the Liska and the Bight to me are both doable at 325. Just so you guys know, I mean, I paddle this, I don't feel unsafe. Now know that if you're heavily loaded, the boat's attitude is going to be a little bit different. When you hit heavy moving water, you're going to have to raise your edges and stuff like that, or you're going to try to roll if you're in serious moving water. But that's stuff that you guys practice without gear, you know, do it safely. Make sure you can get back in your boats if you need to. But I'm impressed. I didn't know how it was going to turn out with the boats loaded like this. You know, and that's something that's always good to check. And people ask me questions, and if I don't know the answer, I'm going to do my best to try to find out. We've had the team working on a few things, trying to figure out exactly what it feels like in these kind of boats. And some would say, no, don't do it, you know, because of the way that they fish. They'd say, go to a big rig or go to some other boat, you know, and I can understand that because we want you in the boat that's going to be the most comfortable for you. But I also understand that there's a huge amount of money difference between that boat, this boat, and a big rig. So I want you guys happy, but I don't want you broke either. So I hope this helps. Y'all take care.